Well, what do you think of that great view? I'm from the Peace region here in Alberta. And my daughter, Zoe, who's my oldest daughter, said, Dad, I love your videos, but you've got to change them up a little bit. Make them a bit more genuine. So I do a radio program called On Another Track on White Horse Radio in the UK, but it's broadcast all around the world. And she said, tell us a little bit about the history of the records you play. Well, I have different features within the radio program. First one's called Flip and Flop, where we play an A and a B side of a single. And if somebody doesn't know what a single is, an old vinyl single was 7 inches, and you popped it on the record player, and you had the A side, the B side. And so this week, we're actually going to be featuring a group called the Everly Brothers. They have the best vocal harmonies in the business. And if you do a little bit of research on the Everlys, they started off way in the 1940s with their mum and dad. They had a radio station and they sang these amazing harmonies. And they really got started in about 1957, 58. They were doing country before that. And then they decided to sort of go across to pop. And Ludlow Bryant and Felice Bryant, who were writers at the time, paired up with them and gave them these amazing harmony types of records. And they were just and crazy. I mean, they went straight into #1. And then on the second feature we have on Another Track, we actually have a thing called twang guitars. And guitars were very, very big in the 50s and 60s. People didn't always want to sing, so they rehashed old tunes. And so this week, actually, we feature a group called The Shadows. Now, if you don't know who The Shadows were, they were one of the biggest instrumental groups in the UK. Started around 1958 as The Drifters, the backing band to Cliff Richard. And then very quickly had to change the name from The Drifters because there was an American group called The Drifters and they became The Shadows. Now, the lead guitarist was a guy called Hank Marvin, and Hank Marvin has really laid the bedrock for most of the rock groups that you hear in the 70s, 80s and 90s. They always quote Hank Marvin as being the biggest influence on their guitar playing. So have a listen to that. It's called Twang Guitars, and we play a couple of tracks back to back. And then we have a feature actually in part 2 of Another Track called Pop Goes the Beatles. Fairly self-explanatory. And we actually explore the Beatles' White Album from 1968 and their track Back in the USSR. And it's a bit of a parody, actually. Paul McCartney wrote it. And, you know, it's actually a track which was very different from anything else that was in the charts at the time. But I'm not going to tell you any more about it. I want you to listen to it. So do join us, obviously, on Sunday between 10 and 12 Mountain Standard Time. Or if in the UK, between 5 and 7 p.m. GMT in the UK. I hope Zoe was right in this, that this was the better way of conveying what was on the programme. If you think it was, vote, please. But you can go and link to the White Horse website above, or there is a clickable link down below. And yeah, don't miss the programme. I look forward to seeing you there.